Welcome to Beyond Known History. Today, we dive into the true story of the Knights Templar, an organization whose history is so shocking and its end so dramatic that it gave birth to 7 centuries of myth. They started as a humble group of poor fellow soldiers dedicated to piety. They ended as the most powerful, wealthy, and secretive organization in the medieval world. They pioneered global banking, created an elite fighting force, and became a state within a state that answered only to the Pope. But was their visible mission, protecting pilgrims, just a cover for something much deeper? Were they truly searching for the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy Grail beneath the ruins of Solomon's Temple? And what secret knowledge did they possess that forced a king and a pope to betray and destroy them in a wave of torture and fire? This is the story of their rise to medieval superpower status, the Friday the 13th betrayal that crushed them, and the curse that sealed their legend forever. The story of the Templars begins with a deadly problem: the perilous journey to the Holy City. After the First Crusade captured Jerusalem in 1099, masses of pilgrims flocked there. But the territories surrounding the city were a gauntlet of bandits, marauding enemies, and Saracen patrols. Pilgrims were routinely slaughtered, sometimes by the hundreds, leaving roads littered with corpses. In response to this crisis, around 1119, a French knight named Hugues de Payens approached King Baldwin II of Jerusalem with a radical idea: a new monastic order dedicated solely to the protection of these Christian pilgrims. The fledgling brotherhood was tiny, just 8 or 9 original members. They took monastic vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, combined with a martial mission. King Baldwin II gave them a headquarters on the revered Temple Mount, believed to be the ruins of the original Temple of Solomon. This location gave them their full, prestigious name: the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon. In their earliest years, they had few financial resources and survived on donations. Their famous seal, depicting 2 knights riding a single horse, intentionally symbolized this initial poverty. This carefully cultivated branding as selfless poor knights was their most powerful strategic move, inspiring the massive donations that would, ironically, make the order one of the world's wealthiest institutions.
The obscure order was transformed into a papal champion in 1129 at the Council of Troy, largely thanks to the endorsement of the era's most influential religious figure, Abbot Bernard de Clairvaux. Bernard provided the theological justification for the revolutionary concept of the soldier monk, combining the knight and the praying monk. The true charter of their power arrived a decade later. In 1139, Pope Innocent II issued the papal bull Omne Datum Optimum. This document granted the Templars an extraordinary range of rights and privileges. They were taken under direct papal protection, answered to no secular king or bishop, and, most critically, were made exempt from all local taxes and laws. This bull effectively made the Templars an autonomous, sovereign entity, a state within a state. The Templars quickly evolved into a sophisticated, multinational corporation with distinct military, religious, and administrative branches. While their elite, noble-born knights, the White Mantles, were the shock troops in the East, the vast majority of the order, the sergeants, were the economic engine in Europe, managing thousands of agricultural estates, farms, and properties. But their greatest innovation was financial. Their reputation for piety and their network of fortified commanderies made them the most trustworthy vaults in the medieval world. Around 1150,
the Templars solved the problem of pilgrim security by inventing the letter of credit system. A pilgrim could deposit gold in London, receive a document, the letter of credit, and safely withdraw the money in Jerusalem. This system, called the Western Union of the Crusades, was effectively the world's first international banking network, built on religious trust, military security, and global infrastructure. The Templars' power and autonomy contained the legal seed of their destruction. They were too successful, too wealthy, and too independent for the newly emerging centralized nation-states. The functional death of the Templars occurred in 1291 with the fall of Acre. Acre was the last major Crusader stronghold, and when it fell, the order's raison d'être, to defend holy sites in the east, was lost. They were left as a wealthy order without a crusade to fight. This created a perfect political storm. The downfall was engineered by King Philip IV of France, Philip the Fair, who was desperately in debt from wars and greedily coveted the Templars' vast wealth. Philip also deeply resented the order's autonomy and their tax-exempt status within his borders. Philip found an accomplice in Pope Clement V, a Frenchman who was politically compromised. Clement was described as timid and chronically ill and had moved the papacy to Avignon, effectively placing him under the French crown's control. The convergence of a motivated, indebted king, a weak, compromised pope, and a rich, purposeless order proved fatal. At dawn on Friday, October 13, 1307, King Philip IV launched a massive coordinated strike across all of France. Hundreds of Templars, including the Grand Master Jacques de Molay, were arrested simultaneously. The charges were immediately drawn up by Philip's ministers, designed for maximum public shock and impossibility to defend. The knights were accused of, first, heresy, denying Christ and spitting on the cross during secret initiation ceremonies. Second, idolatry, worshipping an idol, sometimes described as a severed head or a cat, associated with the mysterious name Baphomet. And third, depravity, institutionalized homosexuality and obscene practices. These accusations were a masterpiece of medieval propaganda. Philip couldn't seize them for being rich, so he needed a moral and legal pretext: crimes against God and nature. The Templars' own secrecy surrounding their rule and initiation rituals became their greatest liability, allowing inquisitors to claim anything happened behind closed doors. The arrested Templars were immediately subjected to gruesome medieval torture, including the strappado, dislocating shoulders, and slowly roasting feet over a flame. Unable to withstand these tortures, many confessed to the false charges, including Grand Master Jacques de Molay. However, the truth eventually emerged. In 2001, the Chinon parchment was discovered in the Vatican's secret archives. This document, dating from 1308, proves that Pope Clement V's own commissioners interviewed the Templar leaders and explicitly absolved the Templar leaders of heresy, restoring them to the Church. Clement V knew the Templars were innocent of the religious crimes, but for political survival, he sacrificed the order anyway to appease King Philip IV. The official dissolution of the order came in 1312 at the Council of Vienne. Pope Clement V issued the bull Vox in Excelso, dissolving the order on administrative grounds, not heresy, stating they were too damaged by scandal to continue. Their immense fortune was ordered transferred to the Hospitallers, but Philip IV and other rulers confiscated a huge sum for themselves. The final act of defiance came on March 18, 1314. Grand Master Jacques de Molay, having endured years of imprisonment and torture, was brought before a crowd in Paris. In a stunning reversal, he and Geoffroy de Charnay stood up and recanted their confessions. De Molay reportedly shouted that his only crime was confessing to malicious charges made against an order
that was innocent. An enraged King Philip IV immediately declared them relapsed heretics. That evening, they were taken to the Île de Juif and slowly burned at the stake. Legend states that as he burned, de Molay uttered his famous curse, summoning King Philip IV and Pope Clement V to join him at the tribunal of heaven before the year was out. Whether curse or coincidence, the effect was devastating. Pope Clement V died just 33 days later. King Philip IV died 7 months later. Furthermore, Philip's bloodline ended shortly thereafter, bringing the Capetian dynasty to an end. This defiant martyrdom and the timely deaths of their persecutors created the Big Bang of the Templar mythos, establishing a powerful narrative of divine retribution and innocence. The unjust destruction of the Templars ensured they would survive forever in myth. Your channel, Beyond Known History, demands we look at the legends they inspired. Some sources suggest the official mission, protecting pilgrims, was merely a cover story. The real reason they set up their headquarters on the Temple Mount was to search for ancient relics. The Ark of the Covenant. The theory posits that the first 9 knights spent their initial 9 years not guarding pilgrims, but secretly excavating beneath the Temple Mount. The Ark, which disappeared from history, was kept in Solomon's temple. Templar legend claims they found the Ark, a large box made of acacia wood and gold, along with 5 more. The Holy Grail. This connection originates entirely in the 13th century German romantic poem, Parzival, where the knights guarding the mythical artifact were called the Templisim, a fictionalization of the Templari. Despite this fictional start, many believe the Templars found the Grail and hid it in places like their fortress in Acre, or potentially in Europe at locations like Rosslyn Chapel, or even a remote church in Poland. The Atlantis connection. According to one Templar Grandmaster, the order was formed to pursue ancient knowledge learned from a secret order in Constantinople called the Brothers of the East. They were told the story of Atlantis, a highly advanced civilization that thrived thousands of years ago, which controlled the weather, levitated objects, and possessed vast peaceful wisdom. The goal was to find the ancient artifacts of Atlantis for safekeeping, as they held the power of communication, healing, and perhaps even immortality. These Atlantean artifacts included the Ark of the Covenant and others used in conjunction with pyramids to create limitless energy. They also found forbidden texts that spoke of a non-human race, the Anunnaki, who controlled humanity to mine gold. Baphomet. What about the demonic idol they were accused of worshipping? Scholars generally agree the name Baphomet was an old French corruption of the name Muhammad, a slander based on the common medieval Christian misconception that Muslims worshipped their prophet as a god. The famous goat-headed image of Baphomet seen today was not created until 1856 by the French occultist Eliphas Lévy.
The suppression in 1312 was not a clean sweep. The Templars had an estimated 15,000 properties and an entire fleet of ships. The fleet and the treasure. The Templar fleet based at La Rochelle mysteriously vanished around the time of the arrests. Their extensive archive, containing all their detailed financial records, was never found either. This missing fleet is the foundation for numerous theories, sailing to Scotland or even America, such as Oak Island. Verifiable survival. The order did survive officially in one place, Portugal. King Denis refused to persecute the Templars. In 1318, he founded the Military Order of Christ, which absorbed the Templars' members, assets, and castles. including the formidable Convent of Christ in Tomar. Mythic legends, fact versus fiction. Rosslyn Chapel, fiction. This Scottish chapel's construction began in 1446, 134 years after the Templars were dissolved. Claims that Templars built it to hide the Grail are romantic fantasy, likely popularized by 19th century fiction. Freemasonry, fiction. While modern Freemasonry has a Knights Templar degree, this is an 18th century invention, born from romantic fascination, not a direct lineal descent from the medieval order. America First. Conspiracy theory suggests Templars fled to North America, possibly bringing their treasures to Oak Island. Some Templar legends claim Sir Henry Sinclair visited the New World before Columbus. The discovery of a square cross at Oak Island, similar to a carving in a Templar prison in France, adds a tantalizing, if circumstantial, piece of evidence to the mystery. The mythical Templars are a modern projection screen for our fascination with secret knowledge, vast power, and lost relics. Today, certain grandmasters of modern Templar orders claim the Atlantean artifacts and relics, including the bones of Jesus, Mary Magdalene, and John the Baptist, are still hidden in secret vaults around the world, waiting for humanity to be ready for the truth. They were destroyed by the very forces their privileges created. But their dramatic end, the torture, the defiant final speech, and the deadly curse, guarantees that the Knights Templar will forever live beyond known history. What do you think? Were the Templars just banking warrior monks who got too big for their britches? Or were they secretly searching for artifacts of a lost, powerful civilization? Tell us in the comments below. If you liked this deep dive, make sure to like and subscribe to Beyond Known History for more forgotten truths.